government doesn't invest in that, there are private sector people that would say, that is relevant data. But beyond the infrastructure for the macro, there are multiple opportunities for us to invest at the retail scale, at the startup scale, at the corporate scale. What should this opportunity have in common? What should they all have in common? Well, first and foremost, they must target the pain point of the agricultural ecosystem. What are the pain points of the agricultural ecosystem? A lot of people will tell you is access to land. And they're right. So an investment in security, for instance, is an investment in access to land. And we should do everything within our power to secure the land, the farmland, so that farmers can go back. But even if all our farmers go back, the per capita production today in agriculture means that they will still remain poor. And for as long as farmers remain poor, it means that the most talented people will never go into agriculture. So the number one pain point is to increase the per capita output per farmer and per hectare of land. Anything we can do to increase the amount of produce that can come from the same amount of land would mean, for instance, that even though we have reduced access to farmland, we could actually increase our total output. But it also means that the average person who chooses to go into agriculture can see a lifestyle that is comparable to their peers that are not in agriculture, that are in the cities. If we want to reverse the unsustainable flow of Nigerians into Lagos, we must make the other places even more attractive. Because what we know for sure is that humans will always pursue opportunity. And that is why the collaboration between Lagos and the other states is more than just about food. It's about ensuring that the balance in the state does not tip into chaos. Because no matter how much money you spend, the infrastructure required to provide for the number of people in Lagos is so huge that at some point the number must stabilize. And the other pain point that with collaboration can be solved is storage. Again, even when commodities are acquired and the farmer is paid, far too much of it is wasted. We store them under the wrong temperature, we store them in the wrong places, we store them under the bed, and we end up losing commodities that have been paid for. So storage remains very important, and it's not just significant large silos that have been funded by government, it is also what happens once you distribute it into the final market. Where do people store the food that you buy? What kind of chemicals are used to store those food? In solving for storage, you would increase the value that is retained from the produce that is harvested. So if you are thinking of innovation today, storage has to be at the back of your mind. And it is anything from packaging, because sometimes storage is in the actual package that you come up with, and it is in cold chain infrastructure, it's in processing. But beyond storage, there's also a lot of value that is lost because it takes you 3 days or 4 days to transport a trailer of Irish potatoes from Jos to Lagos. And if you're unlucky, you get stuck for a week. That is the definition of waste. The produce that eventually arrived here does not have the same value as what it had when you purchased it. And finally, because there's so much conversations to be had today, I want to wrap it up. The way we distribute agricultural produce actually affects the value of the produce. The way a fish that has been harvested or that has been caught in the rivers and the time it takes for that fish to get to the restaurant determines how valuable that fish is. So any investment that shortens the time and the resources it takes to get food from harvesting to the consumer increases the value of that food. And so as you can see, the opportunities to transform agriculture is limitless. We can go on and on, but at the end of the day, the point we're trying to make is that if you live in Lagos, you live in an agricultural economy. If you live in Lagos, it's not just about fintech, it's not just about the ports, it's not just about tourism, it's not just about dirty December, it is about food. And we are in the middle of it. So I'm going to round up by saying a big thank you to our host, the government of Lagos State. But specifically, I want to thank Lagos State for showcasing what happens when you build a cabinet of capable people, for showcasing what happens when we man key offices with people who know what they are doing. I cannot thank you enough, because if Nigeria is to progress, it is going to happen because someone set the example. And I have no doubt in my mind that Lagos State is in pole position to set the example. So thank you very much for this invitation. And I repeat my commitment that those of you that have innovative ideas that can improve the food ecosystem, that can improve food security, those of you that have done the systems thinking about how food should be handled in Lagos State, you have a partner in us, and we'll be there for you. Thank you.
He deserves a more resounding one. Well articulated, informing, and very deep with insightful understanding. Well, thank you so very much, Mr. Abubakar Sulaiman, the Managing Director, the CEO of Sterling Bank. Well, documentation does not lie, it tells the story. So when you document in a documentary, it says it all in this concern. So that is why what we're going to do next is for you to see another perspective of our documentary, which has to do with Lagos Agrinnovation businesses. Let's please sit back and enjoy the documentary. Thank you.
My name is Baliki Salahuddin Ibrahim. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Republic Bank. We cultivate habaneros, bell peppers, tomatoes. Think about any vegetable or pepper, we cultivate it on this land, and we leverage controlled environment, open field, and greenhouse to bring your vegetables closer to you. We are not just farming the conventional way, we are bringing in some climate smart practices to enhance our production and to also ensure that we are giving out nutritious farm produce. Our largest market in the southwest is Lagos State. As a beneficiary of the Lagos AgriTours 2024, it's been an amazing journey since last year. Beyond just winning the grant has been access to markets, to more customers, to network, to events that transition into meaningful impact for us.
Solar power disseminated battery booster, so we were able to get 3.5 kV solar systems along. So that has actually helped us to increase our production and then reduce our costs. The hybrid we can use for those guys to
customer base has increased by 30% and our honey production has increased by 50%. We're able to supply 15 new supermarkets additional to the ones that we supply before. This is honey.
My name is Tony. I am the CEO of the Honest is actually turning organic waste into clean renewable energy as well as agro inputs. We've been able to create diverse innovation, all of which is called GGBooks, as well as the biotech. They process more than 60 types of organic waste. For example, your livestock waste like chicken poo, cow poo, etc. like that. They break them down into 5 things and then you can actually transform them into ingredients. You connect them to your oven, you use them to cook on a basis. They are very efficient, they're natural, they're safe, and produces zero emission. The Lagos Agricultural Transport is also very beneficial. We've been able to actually make partnership with people in the extractive agriculture line who's known we can actually convert this waste into renewable energy. It will save them a lot of cost from buying petrol, from buying LPG. The price is actually almost where our new office location is still developing this place. And we've also been able to improve our innovation. We are scaling our outputs and then also expanding our waste pools inside the inlet system. Within 2 to 3, start producing microbes. These microbes actually start eating the waste itself and start producing natural gas, which is biogas. And within 5 days, the bag that is connected to our system gets inflated. You can produce your own electricity.
Smart climate agri-tech company located here in Lagos, Nigeria. We are into solving the problem of accessibility, technology, and waste in the coconut value chain. Winning the Lagos State Agrinnovation Fund and securing a whopping amount of 5 million naira increase our productivity by fabricating a new machine that can do the 200 kg cocoa pit and fiber per day. And we built a more sustainable technology of de-husking and de-shelling that will help farmers to de-husk coconuts at an average of 700 to 900 per hour. And also process of the de-shelling machine can help them to do about 240 to 400 coconuts per hour. Along with this machine, we've also built a cocoa cycle pump where we convert the waste of the husk into cocoa pit and fiber.
My name is Etim Bukimok, the founder of Eti Farms Global. Here we are transforming mushrooms from a rare delicacy into a staple on every table. Last year during the Agri-thon, we were chosen as one of the businesses to receive a grand sum of 5 million naira, which has turned things around for the best for us. So with the funding gotten from Agri-thon, we were able to lease a land, constructed a farm facility, and then we now have our mushrooms growing in it. We've been able to move our production capacity from 200 to 600 kg per month, and this has been a game changer for us. We've been able to supply customers more consistently. We've also been able to increase our customer base, moving to more B2B businesses. Right now, we're able to do things more sustainably, more efficiently, and we've actually put in structures around our business.
Hi, my name is Fumilaya Ishola, the founder of Dehydrator Hub and Technology Limited. At Dehydrator Hub, we provide access to food processing and packaging machines to boost food security and to prevent post-harvest loss. So we do that by procuring, by fabricating, and also most recently by providing food processing machines as a service. As a beneficiary of the 2024 Lagos Agricultural Competition, we have been able to scale our business. First, with our dehydrator, we had a capacity of 150 kgs, and we have now increased it to an eco-friendly 250 kg capacity. And that dehydrator also
beyond winning the money. This is more of a community that is supporting our process, a community that care, a community that supports.
Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen. The English say, all is well that ends well. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the documentary 2, Monitoring and Evaluation of 2024 Winners. Très bien. Lagos Agrinnovation. Okay, that's one. Lagos Agrinnovation. So for those who are wondering what are they saying, we are saying Lagos Agrinnovation, where agric means Agrinnovation means innovation. Abeko? Agriculture means Thank you very much. You are most welcome to this August and auspicious event. Today we are making progress with the panel session, and we have brilliant, vibrant, and radiant personalities brought together courtesy of Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture and Food Systems. And today I'll be inviting the first speaker on the panel, which is the moderator. Please make welcome Mrs. Saudat Salami, CEO, Easy Shop, Easy Cook. Her profile will come up shortly. She is the moderator for this August and auspicious occasion, and she'll be moderating the session. Okay, please, a resounding and resonating round of applause for her. Welcome. So let me quickly introduce our colleagues on the table. We have, please have your seat. We have Blossom Chukwu Jeku, CEO, Farm Fresh. Please a round of applause for Blossom Chukwu Jeku, who is the CEO, Farm Fresh. Up next is Tony Jibuno, CEO, Milking Ban. Please a round of applause for Tony Jibuno, the CEO, Milking Ban. Up next is the CEO, So Fresh, Goke Balogun. So Fresh. And up next is the CEO, Fourth Worth, Ife Ario. Fourth Worth. Up next is the CEO, Green Republic Farms, Balkis Saludin Ibrahim. So when choosing names, choose good names like Balkis Saludin Ibrahim. And the moderator will be moderating this session for about 50 minutes. And the theme, of course, for this summit is Thriving Food Systems, Smart Future. Please put your hands together to make them welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. Please let me stand on established protocols. Wow, okay. Our theme is the business of innovation, building profitable and sustainable food brands. I'm so happy that it was a banker that set the contest for today's event, the MD of Sterling Bank. And I like bankers speaking, being in the room, because money is my love language. And so we've set the contest for today. And I told all the panelists today that everything all the questions we're going to answer today, they must tell us where the money is, so that when everybody goes back, they know it's not just about impact, it's also about money and profit. So, innovation today is not only transforming how we grow food, it's redefining how we brand, market, and consume it. Across Nigeria, visionary entrepreneurs are proving that profitability and sustainability can go hand in hand, that purpose and performance can thrive together. This session brings together remarkable leaders who are reshaping the food industry from farm to fork, using creativity, technology, and enterprise. In my immediate is Blossom. And now I'm going to start a question for all of us. We have 2 minutes each to set the session going. Each of you represents a new generation of food systems innovators, people who saw a gap and decided to fill it differently. Can you take us back to the beginning? What inspired your shift or investment into agriculture and food systems? What problem were you trying to solve? How big is the opportunity you saw, both in terms of market potential and long-term sustainability?
Good afternoon, everyone. Please allow me to stand on every existing protocol. So for me, the shift into agriculture started with passion, problem, and opportunity. I developed that interest from childhood. Of course, going to the farm with my grandmom, you know, I've always been fascinated by the entire process of planting, cultivating, and nurturing. And I have, over the years, curiously followed the development and evolution of agriculture, food systems, and security. And having a progressive mindset, I have noticed the increased erosion of trust and fragility in food systems. And I saw that as an opportunity first to influence survival, because owning farms meant that we owned our nutrition and our health. And not just for myself and my family, for communities, for the state, and for Nigeria and Africa at large. So producing clean, trusted food have become part of the solution to one of the world's greatest challenges, which is food security. Secondly, to diversify, right? I'm an actor. Now, diversification is very important, and farming is rooted in continuity, because food will always be needed, right? And so it presents a very tangible asset, you know, livestock, land, crops that multiplies over time. So instead of consuming earnings on non-durable assets, I channel it into my agri-business to build a steady growing wealth. And farming is one of the business where you reap financial profits and social impact at the same time. The market is enormous. Nigeria has over 200 million consumers, and Lagos itself has about 77 mouths added every hour, yet we import about $10 billion worth of food every year. And we have a young population. 60% of our population is under 30. So that presented a very good opportunity, you know, to get into the business. So that's why we started Farm Crafts, Farm Fresh Foods. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Tony Jibuno, and I'm the CEO of Milking Ban AgroServe Limited. Quite unlike Blossom here, I didn't grow up wanting to be a farmer. I actually had no business trying to be a farmer. I remember growing up, and my mom she tried poultry at some point. We ate all the chicken. She tried fishery, and went to the market one day, bought a big fish that ate up all the small ones. Then she tried having a goat pen or so. And she wouldn't eat it. We wouldn't eat it because she was in love with all the goats. So I grew up in that environment, but personally, I had no inclination about farming until 10 years ago. I met a contact who said he has a $100 million business. My background is engineering, and I have an oil and gas company. And this guy said he has $100 million business supplying snacks out of the skin of pigs. And he uses 160,000 pigs a day. And I was totally blown away, so I walked up to him and I said, can I supply you pigs from Nigeria? And he said, why not? I came back to Nigeria, I couldn't find one farm that could supply or meet that specification. So that was where my interest in agriculture started, or food systems. Where I was looking for it, I met another guy who said, look, I don't do piggery, but I could show you something better. And I said, what could be better than what I've just heard? And he said, dairy. I said, really? He said, yes, that milk is white crude. That was exactly how he described it for me. That milk is white crude. Nigeria is all focused on crude oil, but milk is white crude. And that a liter of milk is more expensive than a liter of crude oil. You know, my normal self, I jumped straight to argument and I said, no, it can't be possible. He said, I said a liter of milk is more expensive than a liter of crude oil, not a barrel of crude oil. And when we did the maths, he was correct. So my search now moved from piggery to dairy, you know, because I saw a lot of money flowing. And I started checking. Nigeria imports dairy products, $2 billion worth annually into the country. And, you know, and when the Honorable Commissioner was speaking, she said, imagine every child in Lagos going to bed having eaten. So imagine every child in Lagos, every student having a glass of milk every day. It is not luxury, it's something that we should do, but it's just something we have not done. You know, and when the more I looked into it, the more I knew there were business opportunities there, and we wanted to do things differently. So we started following the milk. Where is the milk coming from? And the animals come all the way from Niger, from Mali, from Chad, Burkina Faso. By the time they get to Lagos here, they don't have any milk for anybody. You know, like you get 0.5 liters of milk. Why? Because these animals are nomadic, you know, and they're all traveling thousands of kilometers. So we saw an opportunity there to set up a dairy farm. And we established our farm in Fashola in Oyo State, Agricultural Transformation Center, where we have 420 hectares of land. Currently, we have about 350 animals. We have milk that we are giving out to Friesland Campina. And we're also growing corn for pasture. Pasture fields and corn for silage for the animals. And we also have off-takers for the produce we have from the farm. So that is where we started and the gap we saw, and that is what we're doing. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure to be on this stage, but more than that, I've been a witness to the transformation the Honorable Commissioner has been leading, you know, over the past few years. Like she was saying this morning to someone, I've been right there, you know, at the start of this amazing journey. So my name is Goke. I run So Fresh. For some of you that don't know So Fresh, So Fresh is Nigeria's first and leading healthy food chain restaurant in Nigeria. We have 9 locations across Lagos and 3 in other parts of the country. Of course, that clearly shows that Lagos here is where the opportunity is. So how did it all start? So I grew up in Ilorin, a very small town. Lived all my life in Ilorin, schooled in Ilorin. And then I moved to Lagos in 2009, and I saw this massive sea of people everywhere I went to. And one thing I saw was, opportunity, because growing up, I had access to really fresh fruits and vegetables. In fact, I grew up in a very big compound, and I practically plucked fruits and vegetables from my tree. And so when I started, living in Lagos, buying fruits from the open street, from the market, I didn't like the quality of what I found. Secondly, I also thought that, there was that opportunity back in 2010 for Nigerians to have access to fresh, healthier meal alternatives. So a lot of the working class people had access, to, fast food, junk food. That was all you could find in 2010. And I saw those two opportunities to say we can make, fresher fruits available straight from the farm in a very hygienic, conducive environment. And then we can make access to healthy food, for busy professionals. And all they needed to do, all they needed was, access. And this brings me to, the conversation of today, innovation. For So Fresh, it was about model innovation. Innovation basically is taking something, making it better, making it faster, making it cheaper, improving it. And so for us, it was model innovation. We were not doing anything new, but we looked at the model of people having access to fresh, healthy foods. And that was why we decided to create So Fresh. So Fresh, is, for a lack of better word, a quick service restaurant, but focused on making, fresh, healthy foods available to busy professionals. In fact, I remember when we started, I always like to joke that Nigerians didn't even consider salads as food. The best you would get 15 years ago was coleslaw by the side of your jollof rice. We will eat grass, why should smoothie be a meal? People didn't even understand the value of what we had. These were all fruits and vegetables that we had access to. And so that was what we set out to change. It was two things. It was building restaurants that was close to people. And then it was also education. So in the early days, because the market wasn't there, we had to invest a lot in educating people, making people aware how important the food we eat, where it comes from, and the impact it has on our well-being and productivity. And then a combination of those two things helped us to scale the business. Unlike Blossom as well, I didn't have any business, being in this space, because I was actually working in maybe, every dream industry of a young Nigerian. I was in the oil and gas, and I spent 9 years there. I was earning well, I was very comfortable, but I saw a bigger opportunity to make, impact and create, this business, and, not only create impact, of course, as created impact, making your healthier food, available to, the urban dwellers in Lagos and other parts of the country. Of course, we also had, a lot of returns for the business. So that was the journey. That's been the journey of So Fresh. And over the last 15 years, of course, like with every business, it's been up and down, but ultimately a very rewarding journey. Being able to provide, fresh, healthy food around us.
Thank you. Good day, everyone. My name is Ifeario, and I manage Fort Worth Farm. It's always a very, very big honor to be part of the all the activities that go into the Agrinnovation Summit. I always leave even much more empowered. They asked us to talk about how we started, because I was going to say that the problems we were trying to solve at Fort Worth has changed several times, but I will go back to the beginning. I am an accountant by profession, and honestly, I would never have thought that I would be in the agri space. I had a big dream of working at an audit firm, or being a big woman in the banking sector. And so here I am. In 2007, 2008, there was a socio-political issue that disrupted food supply to Lagos. And what I remember, I was a new bride then. I remember us not having access to food in the market. Food was very expensive. At the time, my husband had a dream of owning a wildlife sanctuary. So we had a monkey, 2 birds, and a chameleon at home. And I remember saying to him one day that only if you had animals that we could eat. And so that was it. It was basically survival. After the story being named for like a few weeks, I came home one day and I met 5 day-old chicks behind the house. Remember, or let me say, we lived in a house where we had like neighbors. So he had spoken to the neighbors, they all had the buy-in. In 1 year, we were giving our neighbors free eggs. I said, eh? So I started saying, okay, if anything happened, and Lagos doesn't get food, I can do trade by barter. I would give people my eggs and get something. And that was exactly how we started Fort Worth Farm. It was basically survival. I just wanted to, solve a problem for my immediate family. And here we are now with a capacity of about 250,000 birds. We also have a good control on the value chain, extended value chain when it comes to poultry. Amongst other things. Of course, the journey has been very tedious. I can't remember how many times I've, wanted to exit this business. I always think, okay, why am I just here anyway? Like, why am I, who sent me, And Fort Worth Farms, because the man had a struggle pronouncing the name a little bit. That tells you, each time I remember the name of my company, I always remember what it took. Fort Worth. It was a lot of discouragement for us to go into commercial farming, my husband and I, because my parents and my in-laws would say, farm, all those stories that came around farming. And we said we're going to go forth, and it was going to be water a while. So that's why we have Fort Worth Farms. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, so I hope I'll be able to live up to the standard of decades of stories and inspiration. Lagos Agrinnovation Club! Lagos Agrinnovation Club! All right, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Balkis, as introduced by the moderator, the CEO of Green Republic Farms. And my story is quite different from every other person. When I started my journey, I started as a climate activist. I'm a climate actor. In the climate space, you see me there. In fact, a lot of people are already asking me, Balkis, I used to be very much in the climate space. Why are you not at COP30? I'm like, I have to be at the Lagos Agrinnovation Summit. That's why I'm not in Brazil, right? So one thing that sparked my interest was majorly how those days we would carry placards, we'd be calling on leaders. What do we want? Climate action, climate finance, climate adaptation, all this, it was a struggle. And I attended a global conference, and I realized that these world leaders can actually not do a lot of things to solve this problem. As young people, we need to take the lead to solve some of these problems, such as creating green jobs, providing climate-smart approaches to how we do business. And my partner, my husband, who is into immigrations and travel, had a very, very keen interest in agriculture. So we sat down together. How can we leverage on my climate knowledge to do climate smart practice? And also, how can we strategically position Green Republic Farms to lead in farming closer to Lagos? We live in Lagos, but because lands are very, very expensive, we wanted something really close to home, but we didn't find. So we went on adventure to Olokuta village in Oyo State, Ibadan, just on the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road. And we started on a friend's family land, 3 acres. And as at the time I'm speaking today, we have expanded to 15 acres of land. Forget the sweet part, there were a lot of, just like you have potholes, plenty in between this journey. But for me, starting in the agricultural space was more of creating green jobs for young people, farming closer to the market to cut down on transportation emission. Remember I said I'm a climate activist. So everything we do at the farm has to be climatically good. So we use all of this approach to cultivate, and today we currently operate admire them. So that is the work we do, and that was how the journey started for me as a young person. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to start from you again, this new round, okay? And I want to talk about finances. You have led a women and youth initiative that is helping rural farmers adopt innovation. What challenges have you faced in financing and scaling such programs sustainably? I know you're a beneficiary of the last grant, but the thing is, the MD of Sterling Bank has promised us that anybody that has a innovative idea, that they are going to back the person. So you are pitching right now, okay? Good. What problems have you had, and how can Sterling Bank back you up?
Okay, so unfortunately I won't be pitching because Sterling is my bank. They bankroll me, yeah, so I won't actually be pitching. In 2023, I'm going to use myself as an example. I hope that many of you can pick few lessons. The Sterling Bank Agro pitch, when the call for application came out, I saw it, a lot of people send it to me, and I'm like, bank people. You see, when it comes to loan, all these things, to be indebted to people, you can't find me there. I don't like it. So I felt like, do we really want to do this? And at that point, we needed to raise funds for our greenhouses because we're really facing a lot of climatic issues. Like that period, we had excessive rainfall. We run at, like, we had so much loss in millions. I'm not talking 10 millions, like millions. And that night, I took the initiative because, again, we were prepared for things like this. So we already had our audited accounts. I'm big on all of these things. We have our stories well captured in visuals. So we applied for the Sterling Bank Agro Pitch in 2023, a night before it closed. And we got an email afterwards that we've been shortlisted out of over 800 applications. So from that 800, we're shortlisted to top 50, then from top 50, we're shortlisted to top 10. And the MD was now around to witness the magic I created during the agro pitch. So when we got to the hall that day, a lot of people were already like revamping their pitch. You know, people were like, I want to do my pitch better. I'm like, I'm not going to stress myself. Whatever comes out of it, comes out of it. And I was wearing my GRF uniform. I was so kitted. It's these days I don't wear GRF uniform outside again. So when it was my turn to pitch, I told the judges that the pictures that you're seeing on your screen are original content from my farm. They are not AI generated. I'm pointing this out for everybody in the room, especially our new club members that are coming in, to see how you can infuse some of this strategy. And I also established that this picture, I literally showed them how our plant was. Like pests were literally destroying a lot of our crops. I showed them that picture too. And I told them that I needed 50 million naira in grants. I don't do loan. 50 million naira grant, give me, and I'll prove you wrong, right? Or maybe I'll prove you right, I don't know. And we finished pitching. The judges went to the inner room. They started announcing the winner. At that point, I'm like, hey, top 5 alone. This is where they did not call my name. So when they called the winner, that's the first position, my name was called. And that moment, I was really crying like a baby. And I was like, oh my God, thank God I took that leap of faith to apply for that application. Because from that moment, it was a turnaround for my business. So Sterling, don't clap yet. Sterling said, they came to me, Mr. Bode, everybody was all over me. I was feeling like a celebrity. And then they said afterwards, that, okay, so Barkis, we can't give you 50 million naira. This was off camera. We can't give, they presented everything like I was a winner. Oh yeah, I was cashing out 50 million naira grant. So they came behind closed doors that we can't give you 50 million naira grant. I was upset, I was angry. And these were part of the problems that we keep saying in the development space. How some institutions, the tokenism thing, they say they want to do this, but then they don't do this. I was already like, I'm going to back out. So Mr. Bode said, Balkis, don't worry. This journey, we are on it together. So we're going to offer you 20 million naira as loan, 9% interest. Hi. Should I collect it? Should I not collect it? So it took me a long time to make that decision. I prayed about it. I sat my team down. We really needed this money. Like, we're really in need. So we took the loan, and MDSAL were able to construct our first set of 3 greenhouses at the farm with that money. And we have had a lot of challenges in between. And currently, we are actually at the phase of restructuring my loan facility with the bank. I'm almost done repaying, right? But at this point, I want to take my time to repay the little amount that is left. So we are in the phase of restructuring it to spread it a little longer. It was a 3 years or 2 years loan facility. So why am I sharing this story? Sometimes, when we look at the financial institutions, we think that I don't want to enter it. But try to take that step. Don't be afraid. And that is what we're talking about. The MD mentioned a lot of financing that they're doing, but I personally think that we need to do more. I am just one person that is able to tell this story. What about every other person, young businesses that are seated here? Can we ensure that they are also able to tell this story? When we have this multiple story of how it is easy for you to access finance in the agricultural sector, we have more young people pick interest to come into it. Because without finance, when we talk about finance, we're talking it just before we came up on the stage, how finances are not the risk for small businesses in Nigeria. It's always so overwhelming, right? Sometimes I tell my husband, I'm like, why is Sterling Bank calling me? Big people are owing billions. They will not call them. It's me they'll be calling. Like, yes, in fact, I tell Mr. Bode, I'll say, somebody is not nice. You should go and chase big customer. Leave me. I'm a small business. If we have this approach in place, it would inspire more young people to navigate this space. Then I think it's also a thing of how can development banks, like Bank of Agriculture, Bank of Industry, ensure that they are de-risking financing for young people in the agricultural sector, just like what the Lagos State Ministry of Agric and Food System is doing. Lagos is one state in Nigeria. We have 36 states.
This
Sorry.
is a lecture.
I know, right? I know. See, that's the thing when you put a young person on a panel. I'm losing my chain of thought. No, they are not young people. They're not young people. At this point that I'm holding the mic, I'm the youngest person on the panel. So just like what the ministry is doing, can we have, aside from financial institutions, can we have Ogun State, Ondo, Kwara, Ebonyi, Akwa Ibom, everywhere, do the same thing, commit 150 million annually to agri-businesses that they will take as grant and support their business? That's the kind of finance we're talking about. We're not just talking loan, but our government, how can they be held accountable to provide for the need of agri-businesses in Nigeria? Thank you.
Bilkis, you said you have left activism. This your last speech should be in the Southwest Development Commission. When are they having the next one? Please invite Bilkis. All right? Thank you so much. I'm going to go to Ife. Now, Ife, Fosford Farms have become a model for sustainable agribusiness. What strategies have you used to balance productivity, profitability, and environmental responsibility, especially in a market where farmers are often forced to choose?
one over the other?
Thank you. The honest truth is you will choose one after the other or over the other. I don't see how it is so possible to do productivity, profitability, and environmental sustainability at the same time. Farmers are burdened already with a lot of behind the scenes work and a lot of time, especially in a climate like ours. We're not so big on environmental protection yet. It's something that is new. A lot of us are even going into it and imbibing the culture to attract funding and to attract, investors and all of the rest. But some of the things that we have done is, number one, the things that perhaps everybody here knows, maybe crop rotation, pest management, and all of those things. But one thing, or one of many, that stands out for me was when we decided to focus on our waste. And that leads to profitability and productivity now. A lot of time we focus on what we're able to sell and pay less focus on what we are wasting. But you would realize that when you focus on your waste, you come up with a lot of solutions because you're able to see or you see the value in what you're wasting. It doesn't matter whether it's, as the MD said, pre-harvest losses or post-harvest losses and all of the rest. So I'm seated here, and in one of my books in my bag there, I am looking at our record of waste for the previous month because it is that important. So I've mentioned crop rotation, pest management, whatever. Also, we diversified into so many things. It's a gamble, if one doesn't work, the other will work. A lot of times we are taught, don't be jack of all trades, masters of none. In Agric, you will be masters of everything. And a lot of times is one of the ways to actually also spread risk. So that is one of our in-house risk management skills. Of course, building a brand reputation that helps you, because when you build a good and efficient and sustainable supply and procurement chain, it helps a lot. And when I talk about supply and procurement chain, I'm not talking about delivering to the big supermarket and all of the rest, right? Our cash cows are our hundreds of market women that come to buy five crates of eggs. We don't do the big supermarkets. I'm not looking for the big guys. Okay, so sometimes a lot of people think that when you're talking about supply chain, you have to have like the big names in your record. For us, we don't do that. Also, when it comes to supplies, we also focus on the direct market people. That also earns us some tax rebates, because that way we don't have to pay withholding tax and all of the rest. And I'm being honest. So you see me in Kaduna, see me in Abuja, I'm negotiating with Kabiru and negotiating with all of these people, even for seeds as well. Those are some of the ways that we've been able to do all of that. Environmental, we're trying, the simple things. What's it called? Waste from our beds goes into our production for crops. Waste from our chicken processing plant, the intestines, all of the rest are being fed to our fish. That reduces production costs. But I know that it's not everybody that is going to be able to afford that. But I mentioned waste, pest management, supply and whatever chain, supply and procurement chain management. That one is big. We have customers that have paid for some of our products even into the new year, till July. So instead of a lot of times looking for outside funds, we do customer deposits, and that has helped us a whole lot. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Goke, I'm coming to you. You were stressing your So Fresh targeted at busy professionals. I'm happy that you were stressful about that, because a lot of people, they look at the Nigerian markets, 200 million, 250 million, but they do not know that there's something called addressable market. You have to actually know the market that you're addressing. But then again, even if you're looking at the high class, the low class, the busy executives, we're still very price sensitive in Nigeria. So how did you maintain brand integrity and profitability while selling fresh premium products in a challenging economy like Nigeria?
Okay, so my response always to issue of pricing, price sensitivity, is to focus on the value your brand or your business is delivering. Always focus on value. Never play the price game, especially as a small business. You almost will never be able to win the price game. So focus on the value. And how do you focus on the value? You have to start with understanding who your market is. What is your target market? So for SoFresh, we were very clear about the people we want to serve, where they live, what they do, when they want their products, and how we're going to reach them. That helped us to clearly, position our product in such a way to appeal to them. As long as you are very clear about the people you are serving, what they want and how they want it, and you are delivering consistently, the issue of price becomes secondary. So when SoFresh started, for example, we made sure that because we were introducing a new concept to the market, it was something that people had never done. In fact, I used to hear a story of your target market, like the high-end, the higher income people, would not buy salads in the open because maybe they have their chefs, they don't trust the process. So one of the things we did, our first store in in Ikoyi, the kitchen was 100% open. So when you walk into our store, you can clearly see your products being made, the hygiene, the cleanliness. And so the product promise matched what they saw on ground. And gradually we're able to build that trust with the consumer. So I'll say focus on the value that you are creating. Be absolutely sure that you are delivering what the customer wants. Now, as a business owner, whether in agri or in any other space, you don't want to do innovation just for innovation's sake. You want to do innovation that meets the customer needs. This is what the customer wants. This is how they want it. And that means that you need to be talking to your customer consistently. You also need to be listening to both the verbal and non-verbal cues from your customers. And that way you are able to, understand what your consumers need, and you're giving them exactly what they need. I'm just going to close quickly on this, very simple, almost, if you think about it, it may look inconsequential, but has been very, very transformative for SoFresh. So we did something with our product. When we started selling salads, again, salads was not a food that Nigerians really resonated with in the beginning. We started with selling tuna salad, right? Tuna fish. And then I think so it was tuna fish. I'm trying to remember the second one. I can't remember the second one now. It was good, but not everybody resonated with it. We had like cheese, tuna fish, and all of that. So one day we had an idea. What do Nigerians like? What do Lagosians like? There are a lot of Yoruba, Lagos is a Yoruba state, right? And what do we like? We like pepper. So in 2015, we launched our sweet and spicy chicken salad. And in the space of less than 2 months, that particular product that particular product became 50% of what we're selling, because it was like best of both worlds. I could eat my salad, but I could feel my pepper. I could feel that I'm a Nigerian even as I'm eating my salad. And people were not really concerned about what the price was. It was about the value they were getting. So I would say focus on the value. Secondly, be doing what your customers want. So your innovation has to be relevant to what the customer wants. And that's the way you can really tackle the issue of price sensitivity, as long as you're delivering value and you're offering to customers exactly what they want.
Thank you very much. Value addition is very important. Engineer, I'm coming to you. We're in dirty December season in Nigeria, most especially in Lagos. And that means two things, tourism and food. And you are all about agro-tourism. I know it's an emerging concept in Nigeria. I want you to walk us through the role you see this playing in the future of food, in our economy and the rural development. How big is this market? How can we, multiply whatever growth that is there right now, and how can it be attractive to the youth, and especially Lagos? What is agrotourism?
Thank you. So, agrotourism came into as part of our business offers because In Oyo State, we were assigned 1,750 hectares of land in a town called Erua. And I walked into this property. It had a river right in the middle, had a dam, and it had like a slope. Towards the lower part of the land had this natural features, beautiful lands, beautiful scenery. And right there and then, it occurred to me that this could be a resort. This could be something somebody would want to come, get away from the hustles and bustles of a busy town like Lagos. Just go there and rejuvenate. All right, so we started developing the concept. But all over the world, if you go to large-scale farms, and you dwell or you spend the night on a farm, the air there is different. The view is beautiful. You know, like the peace, the quietness, the tranquility in the farm is something that people will pay for. You know, and that is why people have country homes abroad. They have farms or houses in the farms in very remote areas where people can just go and be themselves. So bringing it home to you, to your question, they are complementary businesses, especially when you do them on large scale. You know, because if you go to a wine farm, you see the grapes, you see the, if you come to our farm on the peak of a rainy season, you see the maize. It's all such beautiful. And we have so many traction of people visiting the farm that I could actually put a toll gate and begin to charge people money for it. I visited farms before where not only do they have monies from tourists, okay, they have a market within the farm, a farm market within there people can buy. So you can come into a farm and everything you eat, it's actually being produced from that farm. So I think it's a way to go. For the youth, the honest truth is that I wish maybe I got into farming 20 years earlier than I did. I resonate with my sister here who says she's the youth and she's the future. But the honest truth is that those who are farming currently are on their way out. All right, our fathers and our great-grandfathers, they are on their way out. And there has to be a paradigm shift on how farming is done. And they are the younger generations, which is why I applaud what Lagos State is doing, because they are attracting the young ones to come into this ecosystem and begin to run with it. So the future is in agriculture and all the ancillary businesses that are around it. And any sector you choose, any value chain you want to play in agriculture, it's an open field, it's a green area, and it can take 1 million of each value chain that you choose. So the future is in agriculture. Nigeria has left agriculture for too long. We spent a lot of time pursuing oil and gas. 50 years down the line now, we are going back to agriculture. So I think the future of Nigeria is hinged on agriculture, and the youth should be encouraged, you know, without mincing words. We were in Denmark last year. I'm happy the Danish Consular General is here last year. And we asked the question, how is it that 18-year-olds are buying brand new tractors, brand new equipment that worth $2 million, $3 million, $5 million? And they said they pay for it over 30 years, mortgage. You know, so they go, they are certified farmers, they give them whatever they need, and it's like you buying a house. You know, so you see 18-year-olds, 21-year-olds going into farming, having all they need to succeed in farming. You know, and that's what makes it attractive. And that's how we can make it the future for Nigeria. But if we're going to insist on the old way that we have done, then it's going to be a big struggle.
Thank you very much. I think it is also going to be, all of us, it has to also be of how we design our farms, because I've been to many farms. I can't imagine myself spending the nights in those farms. So I think we also have to have in mind as farmers of the different income streams we can have in that space, and we can design the farm in such a way that we can.
So let me give you some concepts, and I'm sure you want to come tomorrow morning. So this farm has an 18-hole golf course. It has a polo field. It has an international conference center. It has
farmers in the house. Are you listening?
It has a water park. It has a helipad. So if you're in Lagos and you can afford it, you can hop on the chopper and in 15, 20 minutes you're on the farm, away from all the hustles and bustles.
Fantastic.
It's a different concept entirely. So it's something that you will want to go to. And when you're talking about climate-friendly environment, that is what we're talking about.
Fantastic, fantastic. It's all about the strategy that you have. A number of us just go and buy land and we just start farming. We actually need to be deliberate about the decisions we make when it comes to business. So let's go to Blossom. Timekeeper, who is keeping this time? Oh, how many minutes do we have? Okay. Blossom has to answer this question. All right. Blossom, you are very new in this agri space and you must have seen a lot. And I always enjoy talking to people that come in afterwards into a space because I think they have so much advantage. I know that a lot of missionaries get shot in the back. So you come into a space and all the mistakes you make them, all the risk you take them, the new entry into the field, they come and ride on your shoulders and they now be as if they are lords and master. So you have come into a space where a lot of mistakes have been made and you are on top of that. So I want you to walk us through what you think this food industry needs to make agric aspirational for the youths and the creatives, because you are coming from a creative space, and for me, I know that no skill is in isolation. When God blesses you with something, it's because He wants you to use it for everything that you have. So walk us through how the youths can come into agriculture and use different skills that they have to make it better.
All right, thank you very much. I think we need to rebrand agriculture from being seen as hard labor to being seen as high innovation, right? Let them see farming as tech, design, as corporate, right? Unpack the value chain. Let them know that they can be brand designers, content creators, storytellers, okay? And when young people see drones monitoring crops, data analytics improving yield, mobile apps, celebrities like me proudly managing farms, it changes the perception, okay? I mean, because they start to understand that farming is to innovate, to lead, to employ and to solve problems. I mean, we're all entrepreneurs, we're scientists, we're CEOs. We're not just growing crops, we're growing companies, we're growing communities, we're growing capital. Furthermore, I also think we also need more visibility. That's why we need more platforms like this that celebrates farmers, just like we celebrate artists, are very, very important. Because agriculture will attract more young people when we stop seeing it as punishment and start seeing it as power. Because food security is national security. I mean, we know what happens in China, in the Netherlands, in Israel, for example. Their farmers are national heroes because they are empowered, they are equipped, because they understand that agriculture is wealth, is dignity, and is strategy. Agriculture feeds all of us, so it should be able to inspire all of us as well. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have 1 minute closing for everybody? Timekeeper, please. We are not going to do Bilkis because she's an activist. She doesn't know how to speak for 1 minute. Can we do 1 minute closing?
On the permission of the Honorable.
Permission, please. Okay. So 1 minute. In one sentence, what is the biggest lesson you've learned building a profitable and sustainable brand? Let's start from you, Blossom.
I would say when you build with purpose, profit will naturally follow. And excellence opens doors, but consistency will keep them open. Thank you.
One sentence, okay. I think we should also be thinking about cooperatives, where smallholder farmers should begin to become stronger through cooperatives. coming together. There is a lot of, when Africa is mentioned, we talk about subsistent farming. But when I go everywhere in the world, that is not the case. Agribusiness is big business everywhere in the world. But once Africa is mentioned, it's termed as a subsistent farming. So for us to get away from those narratives, we need to come. I wish the MD of Sterling was still here. You don't have farming financing for large-scale farms, all right? So the smaller holder farmers, which we have today, even what you classify as a large-scale farmer in Nigeria is a smallholder farmer abroad. So we need to start coming together as a cooperative so that we can be stronger together and be able to become more profitable together and be able to surmount the challenge for agriculture. Thank you.
So I want to talk directly to the agri-innovators in the room. I want to say, for every agri-innovator, this is the age of information. So you need to prioritize information. The more you know, the more knowledgeable you are about what you do, about the value chain, about everything adjacent with your sector, the better you can get rewards, for your business and drive impact. Secondly, collect data from your business. Every single point of data matters. When you collect those data over a period of time, 3 months, 6 months, you can begin to see patterns in your business. You know what your customers want. You know what the supply chain issues are. You know what the internal problems are. You are able to better, run and manage your business and drive it towards success. So, get information, seek knowledge, and collect data in your business.
I would like to focus on mindset. And when I say mindset, it's in the context of us appreciating the things that are indigenous to us as a nation. I have been growing bell peppers and abroad tomatoes in the last 10 years. And recently, I started to do shombo and tatashi. And that is because, number one, our food is enough. Number two, no one is coming to save us. I'm sure at some point we must have heard about maybe the pharmaceuticals. I mean, the pharmaceuticals will only survive if whatever drugs or medicine that they produce, right, does not totally solve anybody's sickness. It is the same thing with these things that we buy from abroad. We buy bell pepper seeds, we bring it, it doesn't do as well because they want us to order more, all right? There has been a mindset of maybe the things that we buy. So you talk about kale, you talk about lettuce. They'll be saying an apple a day saves a day. What happened to 2 bunches of ewedu in a week can help you, even at schools. So I'm happy that we have a whole lot of stakeholders here. We're talking about the people in the culinary space. When content creators, when they make food with our indigenous whatever, anything that we grow, I always feel the impact because there's always increase in demand. So we have the culinary people in the culinary space, we have the researchers, the nutritionists, media, government. We need to retell and continue to tell the stories of our food. A lot of time, information is not available. The developed countries, they'll come and tell us about the nutritional benefits of lettuce and kale. What happened to ewedu and efo and spinach, efo tete, efo shoko? We have bambara nuts. We have a whole lot of indigenous foods that have now become lost. Mindsets, we need to start to see the value and appreciate what we have. And that is one of the ways I feel that we can grow the ecosystem. When you buy ewedu seeds from the north, all right, and there's spotlight, there's a renewed attention, ewedu will no longer be 200 naira per bunch. It would then be 1,000 naira per bunch. Guess what? It would have a multiplying effect on the Kabiru in Kaduna that is harvesting the seeds in a way to sustain the ecosystem when it comes to seed productions. Mindset. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Wilkis, please.
1 minute.
I think mine is going to be building reputation. And I'm directing this to, I've attacked the development, our older generation and all in my first.
You attacked all of us.
Mine is going to be on reputation. If Agriton 1.0 was not a success, we would not have Agriton 2.0. If Agriton 1.0 beneficiaries did not use their money for their business, HC would not say, let's try it again. Reputation is very, very important. I've been in rooms where people talk about young people, and I know what they say about us. But we would continue to prove them wrong. We'll continue to do our best, to do the right thing, to manage the resources that we have, at the same time building our own reputation. The reputation we are building is not for us. It is for your child to grow up and know that daddy collected 5 million naira in 2023, and this is how it has transformed daddy's business today. Reputation is important. Let us keep that in mind. Thank you.
Fantastic. Please clap for all our panelists. Thank you so very much. Let me take something away from here. Our content creators, we need you to promote our indigenous food. But that means that the cooperative, the farming cooperative, you have to pay money so that our content creators will be diverting their skits making to your food so that people will buy from you. You have to pay. Everything is not free. Pay content creators so that you can, you know what Farm Fort said? Once there's something about the food she sells, she sees it in her bottom line. So agricultural cooperative, you need to pay for marketing. Remember during one time when they said Ewedu was the cure for Ebola? Do you know the people that made money from selling Ewedu? That's the power of that kind of storytelling. So please, pay content creators and let us move the agri sector. Thank you so much for joining us, all of you. Have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you very much. Please, let's put our hands together for them. Please stay here and we'll have a quick photo session. Yes, please, quickly, come forward, step forward. A quick photo session. Yes, we're taking 2 sessions. So they first, the famous 6, not famous 5, famous 6. No, they will join you. They will join you. All right, while they are taking the pictures, I'd like to make welcome and invite to join them the Chairman House Committee on Agriculture and Food System, Honorable Olotu Emmanuel. Please, let's put hands together for him. He's left. All right, so the Honorable Commissioner will be joining for this photo session, and then the SA Agric and the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agriculture and Food System, the 3 of them will be joining this photo session now. Permanent Secretary, Mr. Emmanuel Audu, kindly join if you're here. SA, please join if you're here. Well, if they are not there, then the Honorable Commissioner will be in the center. 3 to her right, 3 to her left, and that will be balanced. Want to appreciate so in our midst today, we had an actor, a popular actor, we had an accountant, we had an engineer, we had somebody from the oil and gas, we have from the climate activist and a climate activist. I didn't hear any one of them say they read agriculture, but now they are dominating agriculture. Please put your hands together for them. Especially the engineer that was interested into piggery. From piggery, his eyes shifted to milk. And he said that is the what? Milk is now the crude. It says crude milk. White crude. Can you imagine? Okay. Mr. Craig. Please put your hands together for these wonderful celebrities. Belikus is a celebrity. She's just hiding herself. She's a celebrity. The youngest celebrity. And our actor is a celebrity already in his own place. Thank you very much. We move straight to the fire side, for the fire chat.
Everyone is thinking, everywhere except this one.
Well, we want to thank our panelists for their robust discussion and, of course, the in-depth analysis, insightful understanding of their presentation as well as getting us to understand the necessity of the necessity, the point of the role of agric in the food chain system. Well, we'll be taking another perspective to this narrative, which is for us to take a look at the fireside session. And here, it's not like a panel session, but something connecting to that. We'll be inviting top-notch in this sector who will be sharing their insight into how we can financially access funds, and aside that, how we can make the best in really surviving, sustaining our interest in that sector. I will start by inviting first a very notable woman of honor and still very much relevant in the equation of the calculation. And it is my honor to welcome on board this Chief Executive Officer of Produce for Lagos Fund, Mrs. Sholakwe Hammond. Ma, with due respect to you, it's good to see you again. It's good to have you, but please can we give her an applause, please? And next is for me to equally invite the Executive Secretary of the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, Mrs. Feyishayo Alayode, with all due respect to you. Well, the Managing Director of the Bank of Agriculture is also here. Oh, it's not here. Okay, we'll skip that. I'll be inviting from the financial sector, Mr. Somi Idowu. He's the Assistant General Manager of Zenith Bank PLC. Please, sir, with all due respect, if you're in here, respectively, we are taking a look for Mrs. Sholakwe Hammond. Our focus will be state-driven agri-food financing, value chain integration, and sustainability. No, sir. Okay. All right. And for Mr. Somidu, our focus point here will be the private sector investment, impact financing, and digital financial solutions. While for the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, our focus point is the empowerment financing, MSME development, and youth entrepreneurship. These are the key areas we'll be looking at today. Well, I will be standing here with the permission of the HC, if you don't mind, for me to take a look at this. So I will be asking first, Mrs. Sholakwe Hammond, we know you too well. You've been part of the system. With all due respect and courtesies, can you please take us through the understanding of our focus point here, which is for us to understand state-driven agri-food financing, the value chain integration, and sustainability.
A very good afternoon, everyone. And it's been such an amazing event. I actually forgot I was supposed to speak. Is everyone else having a really good time? Is everyone else really learning a lot? I mean, the last panel was fire. The keynote was amazing. Of course, our Honorable Commissioner is ever amazing, ever brilliant, ever visionary, ever wonderful. A round of applause for the Ministry of Agriculture. They just do amazing things. And thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this. So we're talking about money. Since the amazing moderator from the last session has said, we're all focused on how we're going to fund and scale agriculture. I live and breathe scaling businesses, so I'm really excited to be in the room today with innovators, especially innovators that are focused on my favorite thing, food. As you can see, I really like food. So you are my favorite people. So when we talk about money, and it's very interesting on the stage today, at this point, we have three people who are in money. Faye, who runs the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, that also supports businesses, small businesses and mid-sized businesses with funding. Zenith Bank, And I'm having a wonderful laugh because only a couple of weeks ago, I was encouraging Zenith to say more about the things that they're doing in the agricultural space. So I know they like to be a little bit conservative, but today, please extract value from them. But for myself, I'm very privileged now to be advising on the Produce for Lagos initiative. How many people have heard of Produce for Lagos initiative? Excellent. This is a very informed room. So Produce for Lagos initiative, to give a short description for those who are not familiar. Sorry, is there an echo? Because I can hear, there's an echo. Let me see if I use, it's fine, you can hear me well? Okay, it's echoing here on the stage, but if it's fine for you, then it's fine. So Produce for Lagos is the brainchild of Mr. Governor and the Commissioner for Agriculture, and really a lot of people who during Mr. Governor's transition committee focused on creating the themes agenda. One of those pillars was making Lagos a 21st century economy, and the key things under that were, of course, ensuring we have power, ensuring there's adequate housing, ensuring there's good economic activity and support for that, ensuring that there's ease of doing business, and most importantly, ensuring there's food security. And I love the fact that, I think it was Mrs. Ario that spoke about when there were stresses and it made her actually challenge her husband about feeding themselves. We've experienced that a few times, especially in a city like Lagos that doesn't grow the bulk of the food that it eats. 60 to 80% of most things that we eat are brought in either from other countries or other states. So in that sense, if the borders were closed, as it happened during COVID, we can become quite food insecure. So this was a challenge that the government noticed. And of course, as the MD of Sterling, Abu Suleiman, who's also one of my favorite people, had talked about, we feed a lot of mouths a day, 50 million meals every day. Imagine if something goes wrong in the value chain that supports that. So the idea behind Produce for Lagos, which came out of a lot of studies, the policy development around food security and systems and food systems, the agricultural roadmap, the 5-year agricultural roadmap that Lagos State did, one of the main outcomes was on ensuring that we can actually produce the food that we eat. Some of it here in the state, but some of it also in other states, and that we can know what that food is, the quality and the quantity, when it's going to come in, and to some extent the price. I think Abu also spoke about price stability and the importance of that. And those are the things that Produce for Lagos intends to address. It's called Produce for Lagos, but it is transformational, not just for Lagos State, but for every state in Nigeria that has something to grow and provide in the terms of food. And why do I say this? As Abu has said, this is the market. At the end of the day, Produce for Lagos aims to bring in food into Lagos, but that food comes from other states. And as that value is created, it's creating value for them upcountry. So imagine if we can see how much tilapia is needed. Let's use tilapia as an example. And other states start to do tilapia. Not only can they supply Lagos tilapia fillets, they can also start to supply tilapia skins for medical services. There's so many ancillary things that come out of being able to see how much food can be supplied and tapping into an ecosystem. So that's what Produce for Lagos in a nutshell aims to do. It is touching not just food production by way of being able to provide offtake. And I think for farmers, what are the major challenges that you face when you're trying to raise capital? Because we always talk about money, but really, what are the things that stop you from being able to access money? The financial institutions out there. I find that there are two things: security and offtake. Very often, you may not have the security to put up for it, but sometimes also, you can't point and say definitively, if you give me money to produce this food, I can sell it. Is that right? Farmers in the room, is that right? Am I right? That's a huge challenge. And so Produce for Lagos is not just solving the problem by supporting on the financial side. It's also solving the problem by helping you be able to show tangibly offtake. So if you say Produce for Lagos has ordered 500 tons of cassava from me, you can show tangibly that there's an entity that will pay. And that will open the doors for you with financial institutions. So it's not just bringing capital, it's bringing offtake, it's bringing market. It also enables you to plan and scale. The market that is being built, the wholesale market that's being built in Ekpe, will be able to process or to hold 5 million tons of food. Let that sink in. 5 million tons of food. Now, when you know that, the same way Milk and Ban had its white crude, means I've had white crude, you might have competition from me very soon. So imagine you then know 5 million tons of food, 5% of that is milk. Today, there are not that many people doing milk. I can go and do milk. I can do fish. I can do coconut. So it even gives you incentive to scale and gives you tangible, clear line of sight to where your market will be. For every entrepreneur in this room, and I'm one of you, when they ask you what's your addressable market, how do you even prove that? But if you know that the Produce in Lagos initiative will buy and consume or buy and sell to consumers 5 million tons of food every single day, do you have a clear addressable market? You do. So it solves that problem as well. It also solves, I think the last piece I'll talk about is the logistics challenge. It solves the logistics challenge. I'm sure a few of you might have seen some trucks, some green trucks on the road, and a company called Ecolog. The company is also catalyzing what we expect to be a huge move in moving food. So we talked about many problems here. We talked about finding capital to even grow the food in the first place. We talked about discovery. Again, back to Milk and Barn, when he saw the piggery contract, he couldn't fill it because he could not find farmers that could provide enough pigs. But with Produce for Lagos, you would know how much demand there is, and you would know who is able to fill that demand. So it will help with discovery. It would also help with distribution through the use of this logistics value chain. So it's an end-to-end solution that brings together various elements of the ecosystem to ensure that farmers, aggregators, processors, logistics providers, everyone that's involved in the agri-food space can find a place, can easily be discovered, can sell their services, can work together, and most of all, can get the capital that is needed to make all these things move and scale.
Thank you so very much, Mrs. Sholakwe Hammond, the CEO of Produce for Lagos Fund. Well, from the state-driven agri-food financing to understanding the value chain integration and sustainability, let's take a shot at another angle to this, and that is to put on the spot the ES of Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. Now let's look at it. Empowering financing, MSME development, and youth entrepreneurship is key to your agency of government. How have you been driving this? How do we understand it and its input?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Feishai Alayade. I'm the Executive Secretary for Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. I should say that Mrs. Hammond is on my board, and I have some board members here, so I'm working today. But it's really been lovely. Thank you, HC, for having me, and thank you, DCOS, and everyone in Lagos State. That question was actually a very big question, because when I saw it, I'm like, okay, we're going to unpack it very well, but honestly, it's the bane of what we do. We're basically here to support young people in Lagos State that want to add value. I should highlight that one of the gentlemen on the other panel was actually a beneficiary of LSCTF. So when I see our beneficiaries out there giving back and adding value, it is fantastic. Lagos is working, and Lagos will continue to work. You know? So what I will start with is highlighting the finance question, and no bias or anything, some of the comments earlier on, but honestly, if anyone here is in doubt as to whether they should get a loan or get a grant, honestly, you would not move the needle on your own. You need that support, and that's where we come in. So currently, we give loans from 5,000 Naira to 5 million Naira across multiple sectors. All you would typically need is confirming that who you are, what you do, and what value you're creating. And we have all of those requirements on our website, lsctf.ng, or any of our liaison offices across the 28 LTDAs in Lagos State. And typical things are your BVN, your bank statement, whatever it is that shows that you're doing something adding value, we would encourage you to apply. But it doesn't stop there. Even when you apply for the loan and you're successful in getting that loan, it's important that you actually use it for what it's intended for. And I will state that again. It's important that when you get the loan, you use it for what it's intended for. And the reason for this is we're very big on monitoring and evaluation. So we'll go after you in terms of understanding, at the point when you started the loan with us, how many staff did you have, for example? What was your
revenue or profit. And now that you have the loan, what have you done with it since then? And the reason for that is we're trying to create some level of independence and accountability in the young people. I'm very big on youth growing, but I'm also big on youth growing being guided, and that's where we come in. One model that I would like to share with you, and I know I shared it at the last summit, but I want to share it again because there are a lot more people in the room. My team are here. Anyone in Team LSCTF, can I get a high five? When he's here, woohoo! So those are the guys in the room. Please always go to them and ask questions. We sat down, I think, about 2 years ago to say, look, we have some youth that will not necessarily have access to capital, and this is the agri space. How can we actually support them to do that in terms of they don't have a good credit history, they may have used a guarantor before and the guarantor, basically, we couldn't collect from the guarantor. But we thought, you know what, if we cluster these young people together in farming, can we see if we can lend to them? And that was the game changer. So we created something called a broiler hub with the Ikorodu farmers particularly, and we put them together in one location. Basically what you spoke about, Mrs. Hammond, we actually struck a deal with an input dealer. We struck a deal with an aggregator to offtake at the end of it. We even got insurance in place. And then the right way to actually farm. So we put some training in place as well. And we're so pleased with the young people in the room that we're on 4 cycles and we have 100% collection. That means every farmer that we've lent to, we've been able to collect 100%. Please, can we give Lagos State a round of applause? This is not Zenith, but we're coming for you, sir. Because the truth is, we can replicate that. We've proven it. So we need partners, and this is a call to you, sir, and Sterling Bank, that we need partners because this youth can be lent to. That's the honest truth. Because we found a way to de-risk, I heard that terminology earlier on, by saying, we might not give you cash, but if we give you inputs, and we are clear, and we can follow you for those 6 weeks, we can get an off-taker to buy from you at an agreed price, but that market is guaranteed. So please, any youth out here, do not shy away from lending because there are innovative ways to lend. And we're here to listen on what those innovations could be, but as long as you give the money back. Because if you don't, you're shooting somebody else in the foot that could not ordinarily access that loan. So please, if you're here and you're young, don't be discouraged. Come and speak to me, speak to members of my team, but we'll be able to support you and create a solution around that problem you have, provided we're creating value. Thank you.
I must thank you very much, ma'am. Well, we've been preaching this, we've been talking about it, we know it, we believe in it, and it's there for you to see. All right, from that perspective, let's take another angle to it. We'll be speaking with the Assistant General Manager of Zenith Bank PLC. And our focus here, like we said before now, is private sector investment on one side, impact financing on the other side of it, and digital financing solutions. Mr. Samido, sir, there are challenges in the financial sector today. You know that, we know that. As journalists, we know all of this in-depth analysis of this narrative. Do you think there is a hope? You think there is an open opportunities that will change the narrative as we speak today? Can you use my microphone?
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a privilege to be here and to partner with the Ministry of Agri. Anytime the commissioner calls us, we're always running. We see Ministry of Agri as an extension of Zenith Bank, and then we see the Commissioner of Agri as also part of Zenith family. So we say thank you. When the Executive Secretary was speaking, I just felt that there was no need for me to make any comment, because the questions you have asked, the in-depth analysis, she has actually done justice to that. The honest truth is, even the Deputy Chief of Staff is my organ in banking. We are not shy to lend to people, but banking business is a serious business, and it's not on emotion basis. And so we have been supporting Agric for a long time. We have an Agric desk, and even when the CBN was championing interventions in the Agric space, we are there. But the most important thing is, number one, a banker will want to see if my money goes out, how does it come back? We just concluded our capital raise, and I want to believe that we have shareholders here. A lot of people invested in Zenith shares. Now, if we are giving your money out, we must get your money back with value. And so the first thing is, if you are in the agri space, we want to know your history. We want to know whether you have confirmed off-takers for your product. We want to work with you to see the cycle, bringing out money and everything. And then, like the ES said, the same checklist that they adopt in Lagos State Employment Trust Fund is also what we adopt in Zenith. And for the people that are here, for all the attendees today, there are so many loan applications that you can explore in Zenith Bank. We have what we call retail loans. So you don't need to have a corporate account. All you need to do is to prove that you have been running your account, and then we can avail you a certain amount. Then we have what we call the SME loans. That is for.
Is it that easy when you talk about the availability of the fund?
Yes, so you can get it. And then for the corporates, yes, you can also apply. So there is hope. Banking are in business to create value. And the only way you can create value is to give out money. If you keep money in bank and you're not turning it around, you're not getting value, shareholders will not grow, people like us will not be paid, and the commissioner will not invite me to come. So we will continue to give out loan. But when we give our loan, you must pay back. If you don't pay back, then you have a bad credit score. So there is hope, sir.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Dowu. Well, it's the underlying factors there are clear. We're talking about the windows that are open to us. We talk about the availability of loans to be given to you. But the caveat there, critically, is about paying back. And of course, being able to access you critically to know that you are using this money so given to achieve the set goals. So I'm going to throw open questions now for people the audience to so ask. Because part of the question, the overview here is for us to understand how we can unlock innovative financing for the agri-food transformation, one. Then two, explore strategies to find scalable youth-led agri-businesses, promote value chain integration, and strengthen resilience through public-private financial models. Bottom line here is we want to ensure that financial institutions and state initiatives are enabling Lagos' vision for sustainable food system. So we want to take your questions wherever you are. It's more about the youth's concern here today, but it's not to say that we cannot. So please, if you have any question to ask, the firebrands are there, and we are ready to take. We have just a few more minutes because the entire session is 25 minutes. So can we have questions, please? If you have any, do please come forward and let's have you ask your questions. You want to benefit? Yes, there are. Are you there? Who is there? All right, let's meet you. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Eyitayo Onigbinde, co-founder.
Eyitayo Onigbinde, thank you.
Co-founder Sundry Agro. So my question is, there's been talk about capital available for agri-businesses, but I just want to know how patient is this capital? Because when you talk about agriculture, capital required for agriculture business, it's not the regular credit interventions. I believe there has to be, the financial institutions need to have, in my opinion, patient capital for agri-businesses, especially the ones at the very early stages, to grow over a period of time. So for the financial institutions like Zenith and Sterling, how patient is the capital you're providing for agri-businesses? Thank you.
All right, you want to quickly respond to that, sir, before we take orders, please? Thank you so very much, Mr. Onigbinde. That was very technical. Sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dumide. The capital is patient. If you are talking about patience, you are talking about tenure, right? To which you want to start a project, and when it becomes to yield dividends, right? So you might have an idea. It's like when I wake up in the morning and I fall sick and I go to an hospital, I said I have an headache. But if I get to the hospital, if the doctor diagnoses me, he will tell me that it's not headache, it's something else. It is not that the capital is not patient, it's our mindset to business. So when we come to the bank to have an idea of how we want to grow. It is in the bank's position to be able to advise to go this way or that way. If there is a match between what we propose and what you need, the capital will be patient. If there is a mismatch and we see an error coming in, and there will be a problem where you will not be able to pay back, then there will be distortions. So we are ready for you.
Mismatch, two words we need to take keynote of. If it's a match, we're good to go. When it's a mismatch, there could be problems there, a red flag. Any other question, please? I can say for the LSETF, I know so much about them, and I'm proud of what they are doing on behalf of the state government. I have done my research about them. I have done documentaries about them. I have talked about them on interviews, engagements with my guests. So we are proud. Don't mind that I'm a Lagos State governor, but I know the truth. So if there are questions, you just said something that is critical here, which is from 5,000 naira to 5 million naira. So do you have a concern about that? Do you have questions to ask in that concern? I'm not being particular. If there's other, cutting across? Yes. Are we done? Anybody again from the audience? Excuse me? Please, can you please use the mic?
Good afternoon, ma. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, agriculturists in the house. I'm Mafimishebi Elizabeth Ebonlua. My question is, I'm asking from the panel section, those industries, companies, and agricultural firms that were mentioned, are there opportunities for students to come and do their interns, or for maybe fresh graduates to come and have job experiences? Because if you want to work somewhere, they will ask you that, do you have on-site practical experience? So are there available opportunities for us?
That goes for both of you, Ma, Mrs. Hammond and Mrs. Alayonde, please.
Okay, so this is a really, really good question. So I'm not sure about opportunities for internship, but I know that the Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture has a lot of programs for young people. So I know Appeals is one of them. They have programs that are specific. Lagos Cares, Youth in Agriculture program. So they have a lot of programs for young people. And this is something I always say. Don't be afraid to approach the government. You heard our famous activist Balkis say she was afraid of talking to the banks. She was afraid. We tend to be very afraid of structured environments, government, regulators, bankers. Let me appeal to you today. Don't be afraid. And if you're afraid, don't go by yourself. Go with other people. Approach the ministry. Approach the agencies. Approach the banks. They are looking for you. You may not believe it, but they really, really, really are looking for you, because all these programs are created for one reason alone, so that you can participate. Without you, the equation is not complete. So approach the ministry, study the ministry, follow the ministry. They're on Instagram, they're on social media. You can see all the programs that they're running, and don't be afraid to participate or to try and participate. I've had the experience with so many young people who didn't believe. I remember when LSCTF also started the 5 million naira loan, single digits. People didn't believe it in 2017. People just didn't believe it. I had friends, I actually dedicated an analyst for a week to support 20 businesses to complete their application. They were skeptical. 3 weeks later, the government called them and told them to come and collect the money. They were crying. One of them was crying. She couldn't believe it. So don't be, yes, sometimes these things don't work out. Sometimes there's a mismatch, but don't be afraid. Follow for the information. And the other thing I will say, how many of you are members of the Agrinnovation Club? How many people are members of the Agrinnovation Club here? A few. How many are members of some cooperative or chamber of commerce? How many farmers here are members of? So it's the same people who have their hands up. Have you received benefits from those things? Yes. How many are members of a hub or some other innovation space? Please, please join an association, a cooperative, a hub, a chamber of commerce, a club, a collective of people like you. It is invaluable. You will hear about the opportunities. You will have support for other people who are doing the same thing. You will apply together. You will try together. You will learn together. You can band together to say, okay, say they want a business that's 10 million. I don't have 10 million, but 3 of us together can have 10 million. Please, please don't walk alone. How many of you are Liverpool fans? Don't walk alone. Walk with your peers. Go with people. That is the only way you are going to go far.
Thank you. Your contribution, please.
Thank you. I just want to add really quickly to that because Mrs. Hammond has said it all. We actually have an employability program at LSCTF because we recognize that not everyone is cut out for entrepreneurship. It's not a bad thing. But the reality is some people need to upskill, some people need to reskill, right? So our employability program is actually targeted at people like that, whereby you can come in, do a course for like 6 weeks to 8 weeks, sometimes 3 months, and at the end of it, you get placed in a job. My KPI, remember I said my board member, my KPI is to ensure 70% of people we train are placed in jobs. So please, the lady that asked the question, reach out to my team here or go on our website or on our social media to see what programs are open. Apply. It's free to apply. Some even give you stipends. We pay for you to come for the training. But at the end of it, provided you complete the training successfully, you get a job, at least starting with an internship. So those are the kind of programs we do support on the job seeker side.
Thank you very much. That's very true. My son benefited, my daughter did from Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, respectively. So I know what I'm saying. All right, we'll take just 2 more questions to wrap up this session.
Okay.
Time is fast spent. We need to wrap it up. Yes, any other question, please?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oluwatoyin Salisu. I'm over here, this side. So I'm the founder of Staff Lakes Enterprise. So my question is for LSTF. Okay, so I want to know the process for the loan. How long does it take? Okay, so like the current loan, I applied last year, 2024, and matter of fact, I've forgotten about it because I didn't get any response. So just this year, like 2 months back, I was called, and so I don't know what's the process. Is it like an internal process, like, because loans sometimes when you want to receive a loan, it's not like a grant. You have a plan for it. I want to get this loan to do this, to buy in bulk and all. So when it's disrupted, we don't know when it's coming, no feedback. Okay, oh, sorry, we're not giving you this loan. What are these? Within 6 months, if you don't hear from us, that means it has been disapproved or something, not just internal like that. I don't know if you can answer my question.
Thank you. Valid comment, and there's quite a few questions there, but I'll walk through very quickly. Absolutely, you would have been communicated to, and if you were not, let me start by apologizing. But ideally, if you applied online, if you said last year you'd have applied online, you would always have a status of your application, and we would tell you at some point if additional information is required, because that's what happens a lot of the times where people submit an application but it's not complete. And we always say, please ensure you go on your dashboard technology to ensure that you have completed and provided all of the requirements. That's one. Second thing is, we actually do an assessment of your business. So we would have reached out to you to say, we want to come and see that your business does exist before we complete the application process. So there are quite a few steps that help us ensure we're going through our credit review correctly and accurately before we make a lending decision. Thirdly, we will then also give you an offer letter. So we have a lot of beneficiaries that we've said, we've completed the assessment process, you passed the credit check, this is your offer letter, and some people don't come back. So I don't have your details, so Olufolake, please can you raise your hand?
Olufolake, where are you?
Details.
All right.
We will get your details and do the thorough analysis to understand where the gap is. But you're sure, you're correct, that we would have communicated to you. We would have actually told you what the gap is. But please always still reach out to us. I always say this, no offense to the lady that asked the question, I'm not sure where she is, but why are you waiting? Did you reach out and ask questions? Please always ask those questions so we can help you as well. But my team member is there, we'll get all the details because we need your ID to do a thorough investigation, and then we'll come back to you what that gap is. But that's the process really. And ideally it takes any time from 3 weeks to whenever it is the beneficiary comes back to us. But we're working to improve that process.
Well, thank you, the years.
Thank you.
Well, we must welcome His Royal Majesty, Alailua Oba Abdul Wasiu Omogbolaon Lawal Abisogun II, the 15th Oniru of Irulan. Kabiusi. Well, it's expected. He was a former commissioner for Agric in the state. A good foundation he laid, and the legacy we are following. Kabiusi, my honor, sir. So, the last questions, please. The last question, please.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Your name?
My name is Rafiat Olamide Jayola. from Food League Support Initiative, an hunger-based NGO in Nigeria. So my question is this. In everything I've listened to throughout today, I've heard of them talking about loans for entrepreneurs and all of that. But in what way do we, the NGOs, that we try to fill in the gap between the people and then the government and this private sector, in what way do we come in this situation? Like, for example, now we have this thing that we do about food wastage, whereby companies that produce food and then they are unable to sell all of their food finish, we always like go there to get them and then give them to our beneficiaries. Is there a way that they can liaise with us more for us to get more of this produce and then give it to people that actually need it but cannot afford it? Thank you.
Thank you so very much. A quick response or to wrap this up, please.
Thank you so much, Rafia. That's an amazing question, and I'm glad you asked it. I was going to close by telling everyone how to connect with Produce for Lagos. So I'll say that now. Please, you can go on the Produce for Lagos, just simply as it's spelled, .com. If you put it into Google, it will come up. Right there on the website, there's a register button that will take you to the registration portal, and it will show you all the different categories of people, from aggregators, logistics providers, farmers, cooperatives, bankers, insurance companies, everyone that we can partner with. Now, what's the role of the NGO? There are NGOs that do different things, and there's a place for all of them. Again, remember what we said is our aim is to bring together the entire ecosystem. So if you, for example, if your NGO supports around monitoring and evaluation, providing information, there's a lot of value in that for us. If your NGO supports around extension services, connecting farmers, helping us bring more farmers into the ecosystem, there's a role for you. Your NGO focuses particularly on using food to avoid waste, and that's a very big part of what we do. So remember, we talked about the fact that there will be visibility, there will be data, there will be information about food. So this will then become the ultimate food bank for you. You'll be able to get a lot of information about what food is available where. And so this is connecting to Produce for Lagos is actually very important for an NGO such as yourself. So please go to produceforlagos.com, register to be one of the partners, and then we'll reach out to you when the time is right. Thank you, and thank you for the great work that you're doing.
Great.
If I can add to that, and with HC's permission. So it's interesting that you mentioned the NGO angle, because on Agrinnovation, there's so much room. Even from a juror perspective, from a mentor perspective, from knowledge bank, whatever the case may be, there's always room for that NGO. So please reach out to understand how you can plug in. But one angle that I wanted to share, which is very, very interesting, and you mentioned M&E, so I jumped on that. So if that NGO were saying, look, we want to support you to understand all of these businesses that have gotten a grant last year from the ministry, what are they doing now? Are there any waste to wealth conversations? Are there any way we can uptake some things from them to give other people? You know, there's so many conversations we can have. But I just got some numbers from my team, and I'll be doing a disservice to the ministry and my agency if we don't share. So for the number of businesses that got a grant last year, we have 4 of them that we've gotten numbers from M&E, so the NGO, you can help us with that. They've actually been able to create 143 jobs. One of them, since the grant last year, has hired 39 more people. Another one has hired 36 people. Another one 24, and another one 19. From the 5 million naira they got each. That is a story we have to keep telling. So HC, please, there is room for more, and we will do more by God's grace. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So the last question, please. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you
afternoon.
so much for such a well-curated panel. I'm learning a lot from this panel. My name is Betty Harry. I own a business called The Pepper Soup Shop, and I make the best pepper soup in the entire world. I'm currently planning a pepper soup festival, and it's going to be the 3rd edition. It's my first time being in this sort of panel and being in this sort of room and having to hear this kind of discussion. And I'm so impressed. I'm so pumped up. You guys are doing an amazing job. Well done. Thank you, Lagos State. Thank you, Minister. Thank you so much. Okay, so my question is this. I've heard a lot about innovation and sustainability in Lagos agriculture. How can initiatives like ours, by ours I mean our food industry, the food industry, how can the food sector and the hospitality space partner with local producers and agri startups to create more visibility and direct market opportunities for Lagos-grown ingredients. Because to be honest, I have my own pepper soup business, and I also have pepper soup spices as well. So I sort of tell people that you can enjoy pepper soup in different ways, not just as a broth, but you can also have pepper soup rice, pepper soup pasta. So I sort of have become inventive with pepper soup spices. So my question now is, how can we align with the agricultural sector to bring innovations like the festivals, like food industries? How can we merge forces, and how can we partner up with local agri startups to create more awareness? Thank you very much.
All right, a quick one to help out a question. Okay, she's a bit established, but she wants more light. Obi Kubana's 50th birthday and Davido, she was the one that did the pepper soup.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. So, very good. Congrats to you, by the way. You didn't sound like it was your first time. Acing this. Well done. So, very simply is market access. We did our first pop-up 3-4 months ago, and we actually supported over 120 businesses in that location. It was opposite, it was an Alausa and a park, and we brought together everyone in the value chain. For those that are input dealers, for those that are cooking food, for those that are packaging, for people from the private and the public sector. We had some banks as well, but the entire ecosystem, we found a role for everyone in that place. So are pop-ups valuable? Yes, because we tell people that say they sold out after the first 2-3 hours. So we can work together with you to understand what is the value you're trying to create. You said pepper soup spice, fantastic. But is it that we want to find other people that are selling pepper soup potentially and see how you can work together? Absolutely. But market access is an intervention that is so critical to farmers in Lagos State, producers in Lagos State, and people like yourselves who are cooking food, selling food, and will continue to do more of those market access. But please look out for opportunities through the ministry. I know they have Onja Eco, so you can plug into that as well, and LSCTF through our pop-up market. And we can always work on that together. Yeah, fantastic. Your name again, please?
Betty Harry.
Betty Harry. Love
Pepper Soup Queen.
Pepper Soup Queen. I love it.
Thank you.